Last Friday, Britain got a new political party. It's called Restore Britain. Its leader is Rupert Lowe, and here are the best parts of his 7-minute announcement video.
The first priority is to control who comes to our country, and more importantly, who stays in our country. Restore Britain will not just stop mass immigration, we will reverse it. Restore Britain will make our communities safe again for women and children. That I promise you. If that means millions go, then millions go. It's about who we are as a nation and who we are as a people. Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea. Britain is not just a passport. Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased. This is Britain, and we will do things our way. This political party now exists for one reason: to restore Britain, to make it a better, safer, and more prosperous place for British men and women to raise their families. It will be difficult and it will be painful, but I assure you, it is possible. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey and becoming a member of our party. It is our country. It is now our collective responsibility to act. Together, we will restore Britain.
Sounds pretty good, especially compared to the mincing stuff we get from the man who has been the main British political spokesman for immigration control, Nigel Farage.
It's a political impossibility to deport hundreds of thousands of people. We simply can't do it. At the moment, it's a political impossibility.
But is it your ambition?
No.
Listen, I'm not going to start drawing ethnic lines on what being English is. Otherwise, we'd be back to DNA tests of whether you're Anglo-Saxon. I'm not going down that road. It's about how you feel, and it's about what your priorities are. That's what I'd say.
In the last 20 years, the white British population has declined from 87% to 74%. Is that a concern of yours?
No. No, that's
Why?
not a concern of mine.
When Mr. Lowe talks about millions of deportations to make Britain safe for women and children, he is way ahead of that guy. There's been a tremendous wave of enthusiasm for him. In just a few days, there are already countless inspiring memes of the new party leader dressed in patriotic and battle regalia. The day after Mr. Lowe announced the party, Elon Musk wrote, "Join Rupert Lowe in Restore Britain, because he is the only one who will actually do it." That's a big change. Early last year, Mr. Musk was saying only reform, Nigel Farage's party, could save Britain. But is Rupert Lowe one of us? He says he will fight radical Islam, not all of Islam. He will ban the burqa and halal slaughter and Sharia law, but he wouldn't have to do any of that if there were no Muslims in Britain. Here's a video from last year with Mr. Lowe telling a group of parliamentarians some of the absurd reasons foreign criminals aren't deported.
A convicted Sri Lankan sex offender allowed to stay in Britain because he is gay and would be at risk of persecution if he was returned to his home country. I don't care. A Jamaican drug dealer was jailed twice, allowed to stay in Britain after claiming his removal would breach his right to a family life. I don't care. An Albanian criminal was allowed to stay in Britain partly because his son will not eat foreign chicken nuggets. I definitely don't care. You can all sit here and persuade yourselves otherwise, but one simple fact remains. The British people want them gone, not some of them, not most of them, all of them. What happens on return to their own country is quite simply not our problem.
It's refreshing to see him heaping scorn on this foolishness, but he's only stating the obvious. He sounds courageous only because Britain is run by weaklings. There's some good lines at the Restore Britain website. They can call me Islamophobic, racist, or whatever else. I do not care. He says the right things about his country. It is not just a legal jurisdiction. It is a nation, a people, a home, our home, with a shared culture, shared history. But What about this? If a foreign national is living in Britain and unable to speak English, refuses to work, claims benefits, lives in social housing, hates our way of life, or even wants to do us harm, they must leave or be made to leave. I'm glad this means millions must go, but it sounds as though Afghans and Somalis who learn English and get jobs will fit in just fine. The word race appears nowhere on the website, and white only in a denunciation of anti-British, anti-Western, and anti-white ideological trends in universities. However, just today, he put up a post on X addressed directly to young white men. It decries institutional and systemic bias against white British men. In the justice system, who gets the raw end of the deal? Young white men. There is nothing wrong with being white, and there is nothing wrong with being male. You now have a political party that properly represents you. This shouldn't even have to be said, but it does, and Rupert Lowe is saying it. So, what kind of man is he? He made millions in finance. He's 68 years old, married with 4 children. He was chairman for 10 years of Southampton Football Club. He was a Tory, but went to the European Parliament in 2019 with the Brexit Party. He became a Reform MP, but was booted from the party last year when he wondered whether Nigel Farage had what it takes to be Prime Minister. He wants to restore what he calls Christian principles. It's wonderful to have a man who says, stop coddling foreigners and stop running down young white men. But that's just playing defense. It's not the same as saying Britain must always be a land of white British people. And I predict with 100% confidence that if this party makes headway, there will be a big stink over an aide or a Restore Britain candidate who turns out to have said that every non-white has got to go, or that Britain should have fought the Soviets rather than the Germans. Those are the people who are angry enough to volunteer to work really hard for a man who promises millions of deportations. Will he be loyal, or will he toss those people? Just this week, Lewis Brackpool, his director of investigations, noted that British people who liked their country the way it was have been betrayed over and over.
I am the Director of Investigations. That is my current role at the minute, and I'm going to help build this party behind the scenes as well, because we feel as though it is a duty to give to the British people, because we have been let down time and time again, and we are sick and tired of political parties turning to the establishment, which we believe that Reform has.
Is Rupert Lowe the real thing or another fake? And given Britain's notoriously difficult first-past-the-post electoral system, will Restore Britain do much more than take votes from Nigel Farage's Reform Party and improve the chances for Green and Labour lunatics? For now, Reform Britain is doing well. When it was just 1 day old, a poll found it would get 10% of the vote for Parliament. That is phenomenal for a brand new party. I wish the party every success. It is the best serious contender on the scene today. However, the next election for MPs may not be until 2029. By then, we'll know for sure what Rupert Lowe is made of.